Most of us have faced moments of darkness and difficulty, and in those situations more than a few have longed for a word from God. In such moments we don't long for a written word, or a mediated word that comes through another Christian, or an impression that echoes in the hidden recesses of our consciousness. In those seasons, we ache for an audible voice which proceeds from the mouth of Jesus as he stands in the room with us. Why do you suppose in certain times and seasons so many Christians confess to having experienced the need for such communications? Perhaps such experiences evidence that our faith is waning, and we need at that moment an experiential proof of God's presence. Maybe it's true that the most faithful of Christians never even desire such moments. But if that's true, then I lack that faith. I suspect that we as humans have been created for interactions with others which utilize all of our God-given senses: sound, smell, taste, touch, and sight. It's an interaction that the first humans had with God, according to the book of Genesis. But it is one that, apart from those who walked with Jesus during his time on earth, has been largely denied to humanity. That denial, for some of us, may prove to be the most threatening reality to our faith in God. The trials and tribulations of this life would be far easier for us to endure if God were in the room with us tangibly and physically. Today we conclude our two-part discussion series entitled Too Much Hope to Lose. And last time, as we explored Revelation chapter 21 verse 1, we discovered that the new heavens and the new earth are both a place of new beginnings and a place of safety. Those are two of four hopes of the new heavens and the new earth that Revelation chapter 21 verses 1 through 4 places before us. But those two, for me, pale in comparison to the third and the fourth that we'll discuss today. If you have access to a Bible, I invite you to turn with me to the Revelation of St. John chapter 21, as we begin today by looking at verses 2 and 3. In these verses, we discover a third hope of the new heavens and the new earth. The new heavens and the new earth are a place of accessibility. Follow along with me as I read from Revelation chapter 21, beginning in verse 2. I saw the holy city, the new Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, prepared as a bride beautifully dressed for her husband. And I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, Now the dwelling of God is with men, and he will live with them. They will be his people, and God himself will be with them, and be their God. This is the most essential difference between the old earth and heavens, and the new earth and heavens. In this life we are separated from God. He dwells in a realm apart from us. We communicate with each other incompletely, often inadequately, and always over distance. His presence is with us, and he is actively involved in this world, but a great veil lies between us and God, and the promise of the new heavens and the new earth is that they are a place where the alienation will end. In Revelation chapter 21, verses 9 through 26, there's a long description of the specifications of the capital city of the new earth, the new Jerusalem. And I won't bore you by reading all of the specs, but suffice it to say that the city is a perfect cube, as long as it is wide. Why is that? Well, scholars debate the issue, but my suspicion is that the measurements are meant to remind us of the specifications of the Holy of Holies in the First Testament, where the presence of the Lord dwelt on top of the Ark of the Covenant in the heart of the temple. The Holy of Holies too was a perfect cube, though much smaller, and therefore proportionately it was the same as the dimensions of the New Jerusalem. Now, of course, the Holy of Holies was off limits to all but the high priest, and he could only enter on one day out of the year after an extensive purification process. But the New Jerusalem will be a place where there is no separation. What was once a small, secluded part of the temple, which only the high priest could enter, is now an entire city, approximately 1,400 miles long and 1,400 miles wide, with walls almost 200 feet thick, whose gates are never closed, and all the inhabitants of the new earth are welcome to enter at any and all times. The New Jerusalem will be a city in which God dwells actually. The new heavens and the new earth are a place where the wide divide of sin that has separated us from God has been bridged. And once again, as in the Garden of Eden, God will walk with us and dwell with us. Our text says that in the new heavens and the new earth, God will be our God. That's a strange thing to say since He is technically our God now. What might that imply? Most likely it means that the God we've needed Him to be, the God who is present in a tangible form that we can touch and feel and with whom we can communicate in real space and time, is the God He will be to us in the new heavens and the new earth. Because the new heavens and the new earth will be a place of accessibility, we must persevere through this time of separation on earth, knowing that this alienation is not God's ultimate intention. It is only temporary. The new heavens and the new earth are a place of new beginnings, a place of safety, and a place of accessibility. We find a fourth hope of the new heavens and the new earth in Revelation chapter 21, verse 4. The new heavens and the new earth are a place of healing. Revelation 21:4 says, He will wipe every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death or mourning or crying or pain, for the old order of things has passed away. All of our lives, we have been receiving wounds and accumulating scars, and this is true in both our physical bodies and in our emotional and spiritual selves. Life has and will continue to take its toll on us. Some of the scars we carry are no doubt results of our own choices, but many of them have come from the choices of others and the scarring of sin on this world in which we live. The new heavens and the new earth are a place where there is healing. Notice that our text doesn't say initially that there will be no tears there, but rather that God will wipe away the tears, and then the crying will be no more. The God who made us is a God who is able not only to heal our wounds, but to free us from the power our wounds wield over us. The new heavens and the new earth will be a place of true restoration. Self-analysis, counseling, friendships, relationships, and all the other things that have helped us to cope with our wounds and find some healing are unable fundamentally to break their power. We are affected by them, and we will be affected by them until the day we die. But where God promises freedom from the control of our wounds on the earth, in the new heavens and the new earth, He promises freedom from their influence entirely. He lightens our burdens on earth, but He will remove them in eternity. God's promise to me and to you is that in the new heavens and the new earth, our wounds and our scars will be made whole again. God will recreate that which sin has tarnished and stained. Each of us who has been wounded longs to be whole again. In truth, we may not even know what that means. Many of us may have no memory of wholeness, nor might we be able to imagine what it would be like to live without the wounds we have accumulated. They have been with us for so long and came to us at such early ages. But there is hope. Because the new heavens and the new earth are a place where there is full and complete healing, full and complete restoration, full and complete transformation, we can and must persevere through the most difficult of circumstances in this old earth, knowing that God has promised both wholeness and peace. The new heavens and the new earth are a place of new beginnings, a place of safety, a place of accessibility, and a place of healing. This is the prize for which we run. This is the promised land which Jesus has secured for those who love Him and are called according to His purpose. This is the day of God's rest. This is deliverance. This is redemption. This is salvation. And it's been offered to all who will receive it by the God of all creation. And He has asked us to run for it, to persevere in our faith until the day He returns to lead us out from between the waters and into creation renewed. I'm not sure that this final quotation will be of much help to you taken out of context, but it comes from a book that has been a great help for me as I've struggled and continue to struggle to remain faithful to Jesus as we walk through the waters, and I felt the need to share it with you in closing today. The name of the book is The Sacred Journey, and it's by Frederick Buechner. In the last paragraphs of that book, Buechner reflected on the long drive he took to his first seminary class and used it as an allegory for the long road we walk in life. He wrote this: "That made a journey of 47 blocks all told, not counting the long crosstown blocks at the top of the park. It was a long way to go, and there is no question but that there is a vastly longer way to go still, for all of us, before we are done. And the way we have to go is full of perils, both from without and from within, and who can say for sure what we will find at the end of our journeys, or if when that time comes it will prove to be anything more than such a beautiful dream as Caliban dreamed. But here at the last I find myself thinking about King Rinkitink again. Another king strong in his weakness, stout of heart in the face of despair, and of those 3 pearls that he carried with him. The blue one that conferred such strength that no one could resist it, the pink one that protected its own from all dangers, and the pure white one that spoke wisdom. Faith, hope, love. Those are their names, of course, those 3, as words so worn out, but as realities so rich. Our going away presents, from beyond time, to carry with us through time, to lighten our step as we go. And part, at least, of the wisdom of the 3rd one is, as Rinkitink heard it, never question the truth of what you fail to understand, for the world is filled with wonders. Above all, never question the truth beyond all understanding, and surpassing all other wonders, that in the long run nothing, not even the world, not even ourselves, can separate us forever from that last and deepest love that glimmers in our dusk like a pearl, like a face." That's the end of the quotation. We persevere by placing our hope in Jesus. And we place our hope in Jesus by submitting all that we are, all that we do, and all that we think to his teachings, his example, and the teachings of the apostles that he commissioned to testify on his behalf. We follow him because he knows the way, out of these waters, and into the world for which each of us have longed since the day we first drew breath. I exhort you today to continue to follow Jesus in these ways. And if these commitments have eluded you, I invite you to take hold of these 4 hopes even now, by committing yourself to follow Jesus from this day forward to the end of your earthly journey. And you will find, I believe, that at the end, you've only found the beginning. Amen.